sad to say it, but people still pass away in bad markets. Market shifts. When that happens, people buy and sell homes. People still get married. People have job changes. People continue to get older, so they go from high school to actually to college to actually getting married. Life changes, and people still buy houses. So even though markets shift, whether that be good or bad, people still buy and sell real estate. Those of you who haven't gone through a market shift, you may not have known that. But it still happens. And the other thing that happens, like right now we've got close to 9,000, I think we have 9,000 agents in Salt Lake County. Those decrease. So you think, well, how in the heck am I going to be able to do real estate? Well, no longer your neighbor has the real estate license anymore. So the amount of home sales will drop, but the amount of people that actually sell homes will also drop. And one other fun fact, I just found this out last week. Of those 9,000 agents, did you know that 6,400 of them, make sure you heard this, of the 9,000 agents that are in Salt Lake County, on the Salt Lake board, 6,400 of them sold less than 3 homes. Okay, that whole 80-20 rule. The majority of the business, right? You sold 4.
Yeah,
you just got out of that.
Really quite as bad how myself.
You just made the threshold.
Probably don't want to joke
6,400. 6,400 of them sold less than 3 homes. So we got a lot of agents out there that aren't doing very much.
Is that a year or ever?
In the last year, the last 12 months. So, yeah, ever. There was a hand that was back here. And I guess it's gone to the wayside. So, just think about it. Yes, we have more agents. There were a lot more homes. The number of home sales will probably drop as well. But there's fewer agents. Just make sure that you're part of the other 20%, not the 80% that isn't doing any business. So, what can you do to be prepared for that shift? Obviously, mentally. We talk about our foundation. The mindset is one of the critical things that we deal with. Know where you're going, your direction, your purpose. Know where you're going. But the shift, when that happens, it happens. So things that we can be proactive for to make sure that when that does happen, we're prepared. One of the best things, it's easy to say now, but when you're going through it, it sucked. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. It sucked. This last down market, brutal. It's tough. I mean, there were some incredible shifts that were happening at that time, and it was tough. But the one thing that was fantastic about it is it forced us to work. It forced us to know what we were talking about. It forced us to actually get in and learn stuff. I mean, several of you guys are coming to the script practice in the morning, but it forced us to get to know this stuff so that when you were given an opportunity talking with someone, you were able to take advantage of that. And that's one of the things that is fantastic about having those down markets, is it hones your skills as long as you put forth the effort to make those changes. Because I guarantee it, the other 80% aren't going to do it. The other 80% are going to go get a real job. So be prepared to be that 20% so that you can actually do it. John, raise your hand.
Well, if it gets really bad, then the government will provide clients for you.
Yes, that's another topic we can shift
No,
off of.
they were paying first-time home buyers $8,000
Yes,
to buy
they
a
were.
home. I sold 6 of those homes because the government paid them.
See, John, you're causing me to just shift a whole different thought right now, and that is. I don't want to go get political here.
Okay,
Well, I still
There's no question. I know. That's why,
just.
Oh.
You're even there. Stay
Ron
focused.
was just making lemonade out of lemons.
That's
I
true.
know, but stay focused on what your thought was, because I want to hear it.
everyone benefit from that because lots of people exited the market. You still had to hone your skills.
I know, but I went to bailouts. I went to
Yeah.
like everyone else. The whole idea of it's not our fault. It's someone else's fault. Let someone else bail out the problem. That is definitely. I'm aware of what you're talking about. Yes, there was a lot of opportunity because first-time home buyers, whatever, they were able to get this credit. But I'd rather have maintain the control with what we have when things shift. But thank you. I do remember those, and I took advantage of a couple of those as well. That is true.
Has anybody ever bought a home at an interest rate above 8%? People still buy homes. Doesn't have to be 3%.
And I was told 8 3/4 was a great rate.
I remember when.
Because
If I dropped to 7 3/4,
Yes,
I'm in the
everyone's
sevens.
like,
I'm in the sevens.
because it had been up as high as 18.
Yeah, I wasn't there at that point. Thank goodness.
When I bought in first time,
$6,500.
career was at 18%. I was doing backflips when we went to 10.
Yeah.
It's like,
And think
yes.
about what those are. I mean, take the 8% interest rate. It mathematically makes sense for us. Right now, you can get 3.5, 3 3/4, whatever it is,
Right on board.
something around there.
Yeah.
So, what? And now, the property values are a lot more than say they would have been back then. I think my first home, maybe I don't remember 150, 160, something like that. But it was at 7 7/8 or 8%. So if it was at 8%, that now take a 4% interest rate. That $350,000. That was a $300,000 home at a 4% interest rate. I mean, it's the same thing. So right now, where rates are the way that they are, if our average price point is, I think it's $375 in Salt Lake, they double. That's basically like buying an $800,000 home. I mean, it's brutal. It's tough. You can see in a couple hands.
Well, in that era, the Fed didn't really have the tools to deal with those types of interest rates. They finally figured it out. That was an anomaly. They fixed it. 10, 15 years ago, well, let's see, what was it? 2007? 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. That was an anomaly. The Fed fixed it. You're not going to have an anomaly like that happen again. It's just not going to happen.
It'll be different.
Yeah,
They had the portfolios, the things that were, the junk that was in there.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that if when the market shifts, we're going to another market that we had in 12 years ago. That was a depression type scenario.
There's one other thing though. Utah has the most millennials of any state. 25% of our population are millennials. These guys and gals are buyers.
Absolutely.
These guys and gals are going to school. They're getting accredited education to continue on with their life. They're out there, they're probably living in their parents' basement. That's why it's important to probably knock doors. They're out there, in apartments. And, I mean, they're out there and they're buyers.
Yeah, well, even a lot of them they want the urban lifestyle. They're buying condos, whatever, that are the smaller, but it's downtown community. But then all of a sudden, they get married and they start having kids, and they're also shifting as well. They no longer want just that small space, and they're buying again. They're buying and selling. So things are the market shifts. That's the message I want you guys to just be thinking about right now. The market is going to shift. Again, this isn't a scare tactic. I'm not trying to say that, hey, what are you guys going to do today? It may not. I think right now Utah is still amazing. I honestly think we probably got another year and a half of this before it truly does shift and impact us. Utah, even when those shifts occur, 12 years ago, ours was in the top 3 best markets in the country. So even when it was as bad as it was, we were still
Catching up.
We
we were
probably-
still better than anybody else.
We were a couple years behind.
Well, we're about 2 years behind what happens. California's your determining factor. We typically are about a year and a half to 2 years behind whatever the rest of the country is doing. That part is correct. But even at that point, we were still in the top 3 best markets in the country. So that right there is awesome to know that we at least do things right or better in this state than in other states. So be mindful of that. Be able to take advantage of that in one thing, and
Or
then
at least not Detroit.
Yeah, you could be in trouble.
there's, like I said, we
Are you just trying?
we'll keep politics out of this right now.
Are you just trying?
The one thing that I want you guys to, we're going to end with this. Some of you may know it, some of you may not know it. But one of the one things that we have done for the years is learn the scripts. So we're going to just end by going over the listing presentation. And if, for those of you that have done it before, we're going to run through it just real quick. But the things that we're going to be wanting to do, you're going to see people that are going to be doing some nonverbal gestures. Those are the things that we want to start learning how to do, because by doing that, subliminal messages where not only you yourself are going to start believing better what you're saying, but the customers that you're talking to, they're going to, this is the neuro-linguistic programming, when you're saying, are you prepared to list with me? And I'm shaking my head yes. It's telling the customer, telling the client, oh, yes, I'm prepared to list with you. So the things that we want to do, you want to start using these, and we're going to start practicing a lot more of that as we go forward. The one thing that you may not have, just use, so we're saying the same thing. If you do have your script book, it's on page, you're going to start on page 60. But the one thing in section 2, the things to put in here, we use in this first, section 2, number 1, we say LA. Can't see that. First blank is going to be LA. Second one, because of a job transfer. Third one, you said you had to be there 90 days. You like to price your home at $300,000, and you owe $280. Not happening? It's not going to happen? Oh, that's right. You guys didn't have to worry about when we were practicing. They want to price their home at $300,000, and they actually owed $320,000. That was the market that we were dealing with. A little more difficult that way, right? Hence the reason why short sales came about. But we're not in that market. Okay? Here, we'll make you feel a little better. You don't have to worry about commission. Is that better for you?
I love that.
Is that better? So you can actually have some negotiation, and you don't have to make your commission be the only solution right there? All right. Sorry, I got too realistic. I apologize.
For $330 and you want to price it at $300.
Well, I had it at 300 and 280. That was
It's
real.
just a chance, guys.
It's just we're not objection handling right now. We're just
Sorry,
trying
I'm
to
excited over the number.
All right. Okay.
That was when your key person you needed to know is a good short sale negotiator.
You became the short sale negotiator.
What
Okay.
page?
Everyone stand up. Page 60. Okay, so it's going to start off in the 1 minute presentation. It'll be real short and simple as we get into it. If you haven't seen this before, we're going to start catching on to this. A lot of the same thing is we're just all of us speaking together and practicing this as loud, okay?
We use George.
Yes, use George as the name, okay? Hi, thanks again for having me over. I'm excited about being your home. Pause. Sorry, the one thing I did forget here. Let's also fake it and actually look like we're excited about this, okay? All right? So we're going to be out there just not like, hi, thanks again for having me over. I'm excited about getting your home on the market and get it sold. Do you mind if I take a quick look at your home? Yeah. No. We actually want to have a smile on our face. We want to make sure that actually comes across that way, so that if we were in a listing presentation, they would actually think, hey, I actually might want to list with this person. All right? That's what we're also practicing. Okay? Apparently someone's being singled out. And that wasn't because of you. I stopped everybody. All right, again. Hi. Thanks again for having me. I'm excited about getting your home on the market and getting it sold. Do you mind if I take a quick look at your home? Yes, thank you. I wrote down 3 very important questions for you. Number 1, do you absolutely have to sell your home? Yes? Fantastic. Will you price your home to sell, or do you want to keep it on the market for a long period of time? Price to sell? Great. Do you want
Handle this out for you.
Sorry, I was going to say number 3, but we didn't have to do that. That's right. That was my fault. Do you want me to handle the sale for you? Yes? Excellent. All I need now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great? Yeah, sign the contract. Good. So turn the page now. Just jump right into it. George, at the end of my presentation tonight, 1 of 3 things will happen. Number 1, you will have the opportunity to purchase your home with me. Or, number 2, you'll decide not to list your home with me. Or, number 3, I'll decide not to take you with me. Anyone is fine. Let's quickly take a moment and look at the questions I asked you on the phone. You said you were moving to LA, right? You said you were moving because of the job transfer. You said you had to be there in 90 days, correct? You'd like to price your home at $3,000, right? And you said you were to ready. Is that right? Now, you weren't planning on selling the home, were you? Terrific. Are you interested in selling financing? Or do you want money out? Wonderful.
There are only 2
There's right tonight.
Number
Number 1, your motivation is to sell this home. And number 2, the price for selling your home. I prepared what we call comparative market analysis. There are 2 parts to this research. Part 1, we call fantasy land.
It's what home is for.
Part 2, we call reality. What real estate agents list and sell homes for. We're going to decide tonight. Where are you going to spend your time? The purpose of the comparative market analysis is to determine the value of your home in the eyes of the buyer. Do you know what buyers are value? Buyers are value based on comparison shopping. They look at the price of your home based on its features and benefits and compare its features and benefits to separate homes that have sold recently or are currently on the market. Does that make sense? Yes? Good. For example, if you were going to purchase a new car, and one dealership had a car for $20,000, and another dealership had the same car for $20,000, but it had a CD player and fancy rims, which car would be more valuable? Why? What if the first dealership put a car with no CD player and fancy rims on sale for $15,000? Which would be a better value then? Why? So, you can see that if you want to do lower the price or have more features and benefits for the same price. Does that make sense? Good. So, unless you're planning on having more features and benefits for your home, are you? No. Price is the only issue. Let me show you what I mean. This home is just like yours. How many bedrooms? How many baths? How many square feet? Do you know this neighborhood? Have you seen this house? Your house is better. This house is better than yours. This house is pretty similar to yours. What price are they asking? How long are you living on the market? You need to be in LA in 90 days, right? What price do you feel we should use to create value in your environment and to get someone to decide about your home versus competition? Now that you see these prices, I'm going to recommend a price of $280,000.
280,000.
George, let's start down over. Now, 280 is the number. 280 is the number. Now that you see these prices, I'm going to recommend a price of $280,000. Will you, George, list your home with me for that price tonight? All you know is sign the contract so I can help you get what you want and the time you want. Won't that be great? Sign the contract. Okay. This is the stuff that we're going to be doing over and over. Now, the one thing we probably should adjust at this point, we should maybe say instead of a CD player and fancy rim, maybe like a.
We don't need to change it.
We don't need to change that?
It's in the script, just keep it.
No, you don't just say we're going to go high tech. You can go to like a. They actually have.
I like
Yeah.
And
But no, yeah, MP3 player. Just kidding. The whole point about this is it's there to create knowing what to say, knowing how to say it, so that when you're in those situations, you're not sitting there thinking, oh, what am I supposed to say next? They said that they want to price their home way too high. What are we supposed to do? Okay? It's not that hard. It's not that's tough. Let's make sure that we're on top of this stuff. Okay, guys? Any other thoughts? Questions?
Love it.
Okay. All right, let's end it up.
Alright.
Closing affirmations. I succeed because I act my goals.
I'm an optimist. I like talking to people. I know it's important to me. I remember people's names. I live in what I follow. I'm passionate about leadership. I know positions I'm ready to grow. I like asking questions. I enjoy reading for myself. My boss